Good evening, welcome back to the ETF Inspector. This is the video for the Ultra Option Income Strategy ETF ULTY by YieldMax for the trades and holdings as of Thursday, May 8th. So before we get started, I just wanted to point out how beautiful that is. That is, if you just hold for the entire year, if the price stayed the same and they paid the same dividend or distribution that they just paid, that we'll be receiving in our accounts tomorrow morning, that comes out to 103% a year. Pays for itself in a year. You'll be on house money in less than a year. So it's pretty interesting. All right, so sorry it's so late, 9:30 again. Not the ideal thing. Again, I'm in my basement trying to make this video, so if you hear the air conditioner and water and all that stuff going on, trying to get kids ready for bed after all their practices. So come on, summer. All right, so we'll start with the holdings. Okay. Well, let's see how everything did. So just a quick big picture. All right. Pretty green day overall. 5% or 10% or 8, 9, 7, 5, 7, 11, 5. So lots of green on the screen. Big moves. Not great for our options, but always great for the actual positions being held. So we'll start off with ASTS, and again, if you're new to this, the way I do it, after everything closes out, unfortunately it takes them till about 6 o'clock before they put out all the information, so I can't get the video out like right after the market closes, so I end up having to wait till after practices to do it. So the holdings themselves won't be updated, like according to the trades that they made today, according to the values of the options, and even the market values here, because I like to put in the closing price. So this is today's closing price for each stock, so that way you can see the change in market value for the overall holdings. Then we'll go over the trades, and then after the video is over, I then update all this information so it reflects real time, and then when we look at it the next day, it will be as of the start of the day before. Okay, so big day obviously for ULTY. Before I get started, there were an extra almost 1.5 million shares, so new money coming into the fund. Ignore this NAV, because these, like I said, these values didn't update. Nothing's updated, so the real NAV is real close to $6. It's like $5.94, $5.96. So that'll get updated after the video. But new money came into the fund, so the outstanding shares went up, but that gave them more money to work with, and we needed it because, frankly, we were getting pretty low on funds to pay out our weekly dividends. So ASTS lost about 1/4% or $15,000 on the day. Just in overall value, Alibaba went up 2% or almost $180,000. Coinbase went up 5% or almost $500,000 in value added. Carvana went up over 10%. So it's killing us on our calls that were actually already in the money. Then they went up another 10%. But it turned into an extra $1.3 million in value. So we'll take it. This number goes up. I think I got the tab open so I can show you this money goes up because of new money that came into the fund. First Solar went up 3% or roughly $180,000. GameStop went up almost 3% or $231,000. Hims and Hers finally had a down day. It's been on a crazy run. I think I looked at this and it's up like 100% over the past month. Don't quote me on that, but I think I looked that up earlier today. But in any case, it went down 1.8%, lost about $250,000. Robinhood went up 8.16% or over $880,000 in value added. IONQ. Blew right through their calls. I actually have the same call sold for it, so it was not a great day for me either. But it made them $877,000 in value added. Mara Holdings went up 7.2% or $600,000 in value. MP Materials went up just under 1% or $64,000. MicroStrategy went up 5.5% or $832,000 in value added. Cloudflare went up 2.14%, earning, these are all unrealized gains, right? Because they didn't sell these, so this is just value added. $143,000. Nvidia went up 0.25% or $31,000. Oklo down 0.63 or negative $51,000. Palantir went up almost 8% and over $1 million in value added. Reddit went up 2.18% or $126,000. Rigetti, still haven't taken the time to learn to say that one, went up 11.46%. So 1031. So right off the bat, we just opened this one in the middle of this week for next week with a 1050 strike price on the call, and we're already at 1030. But it's still under, so we're still okay. Added $371,000 in value. RH went up 4%, $155,000 added. Super Microcomputer Inc. down 1.14% or negative roughly $50,000. All right, our TNA, our 3X small cap bull, up 5.84%, $562,000. ProShares, TQQQ, went up almost 3% or $418,000. Tesla, up 3.11%, $395,000. Upstart, up 3.21% or roughly $30,000. Vertiv Holdings up about 0.25%, $15,000, and Vistra Corp up 1%, just under $100,000. So all said and done, the value of just the stocks, not the options, just the stocks in the holdings, went up by over $9 million. So that's nice, right? So that'll increase these net assets along with the buy-in. So that's why that looks like such a low NAV. We've got millions, over $10 million to add to that after the fact. Okay, so let's look at the trades. And right, as you can see, this is the download that they put out. So we dig through it, find ULTY for May 8th, and these were all their trades. Okay, so we've got them written out in a way that's easier to understand and a way that we can use our spreadsheet. So right off the bat, the first three things, so just so you know, when I count trading, I talked about this a couple of days ago, when I talk about options trading for the income, I don't include when they just buy or sell the stocks, okay? Because we already talked about the value adding of the stock, and in this case, it was almost a wash. Really, we've got an extra $1 million here, but none of this was from options. So more money came in, and then also, as you'll see, I didn't want to give it away on the page before, they got out of GME, GameStop. So we won't be talking about GameStop anymore, at least not for the time being, because you'll see down here they closed out of the options and they sold the shares. So we're not talking about GameStop anymore for a little while. So they used that money to buy more shares of ASTS and more shares of Reddit, and then like they do with everything, they have options on 100% of the shares that they own. So because they brought in new money for ASTS, they opened a new collar, right? They sold a covered call at $28.50, and they bought a put at $22. And so overall, that made them $43,000. And these are for next week. We're finally starting to get into some next week stuff, which is nice, because then my tomorrow video at least has some of the transitions from this week to next week already knocked out. So I appreciate that. Carvana This is just one where it just kept going up, blew through their calls. They just needed to close them out, roll them to next week, try to make some money, and really just cut their loss. So they closed out the May 9th 260 call and 195 put. Obviously, that was a loss. They had to pay $25 a share to close those out, $642,000. And when they opened the new ones, they only picked up $5.20 a share. So overall, over $500,000 loss on the trading day for Carvana. GameStop, they closed these out. These ended up being a win. I know it looks like that's a negative, but they took in a whole lot more. Let's go back to GameStop. All right, so when they closed out the old position, all right, they closed them out as a win. So they've been winning these, but they're just getting such low premiums that it seems like they're just done with it. All right, so they made $93,000 and spent $15,000 to open that collar. And then where they made 93, they only had to give back 24 of it. So they got to keep most of it. And then where they spent 15, they got back 12 of it. So they really only lost $3,000 on the puts, and they made roughly $70,000 on those. So it looks like for the day, it's a trading loss, right? Negative 12,000. But overall, that was a winning trade. Hims and Hers, another one, just blew straight through their calls, losing money big time, right? They had to spend almost $1.3 million to close that one out. Big time loss. Okay, and they rolled the next week, opened up at a much higher strike, and it seems like Hims finally had a down day, so maybe that crazy run stopped. So overall, they lost $1 million trading today on Hims, rolling out to next week. Robinhood, same thing. Blew through their calls. They had to pay, close them out, almost $700,000. Opened up new ones for close to a quarter million. But big picture, roughly almost $500,000 loss. All right, the MP Materials, I believe that is, closing out. They actually closed out next week's 25, made it a 26. Closed out next week's $19 put, made it a $20 put. Not sure. Let's see. What did MP? So 23.85. I don't know why they did that. Right? It's at 23.85. And they just moved it from 25 to 26. They just shifted it up. Lost $30, or 30 cents a share on that transaction, and another 9 cents a share. So if we want to just take a second, let's see what they got for these MP25s. Maybe. Let's see if we can find them. Maybe it's just too late. I'm too tired. Okay. The only thing I can think is if they already had these sold out to May 16th when I first started coverage, so they haven't had any kind of trades on them this whole time. Seems odd. So it's possible I just missed a trade. But in any case, not a huge gain or loss. $100,000 to the negative for the day, though, trading MP. NVIDIA was a little different. If you remember, if you've been keeping up, they don't just have the collar for NVIDIA, right? Their call and put, but then they also had a put spread at 114 and 110. So it was a credit put spread, and they closed that out for $15,000 paid out total. So I'm going to say that was a win. This is going to be embarrassing if we got two trades up here. Okay, here it is. There's the 110, 114. Oh, yeah. See, so they got $2.38 a share for those, and they paid 19 cents to close them. So, big win. Oklo. All right, another one. Had to pay to close it. All right, closed a $25 call, upped it to $30.50. Got about half their money back, so lost $500,000 overall trading today. Palantir closed out their 114 call, made it a 125. Again, not quite half of their money back. Closed out the put, raised up to the new put, lost $211,000 trading Palantir. So although it seems like they're not doing well, they're making more money than they're losing. The stocks just went up so much that it messed up their options, but their regular holdings gains are much more than their trade losses. So, and then the last one, Reddit. So they just put more money into Reddit. I think we had two like that. Yeah. So ASTS, they put more money into them, bought more shares, and same thing, they bought more shares of Reddit, right? Another 45,000 shares. So then that gave them another 450 contracts to work with as far as selling calls and buying puts. So they got to collect money on that one, $72,000. So if we total that up for today, came out to a $2.7 million loss or deficit in their options trading and a $9 million gain in their value of their stocks. And then not to mention, we said almost 1.5 million more shares got sold. So lots of money came in. Definitely an overall win. Again, similar to the big days last week, right? Almost the same, right? If your stocks go up so much that you make 9 million, then all your options are going to cost you money. 2 million. All right, so not bad. We're done talking about last week, right? Here's Wednesdays, here's Thursdays. This time we'll be able to get a full week: Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or obviously not Saturday, Monday, Tuesday, and then we'll be able to have all the money in, all the money out, and make a guess at what declaration will be on Wednesday. I think that's everything. So if you made it this far, I appreciate it. I appreciate all the people giving me comments, likes, views. So if you've got anything you want to see, if you want to see some changes, I do, now that I'm looking at it, realize that I had it zoomed out a little bit. I know I was given pointers to be more like 140. So that was my mistake. I'm sorry if you couldn't see what I was showing you today. So time for the dad joke of the day. If you put up with all my boring talk this long, then you get a little chuckle at the end. So what do you call a bear with no teeth? And my youngest laughed when I told her. A gummy bear. All right, I need like what do you call that? A drum track or something? Badumts. It's kind of hard just telling a joke to myself that I already know because I'm not going to laugh. So, okay. Tomorrow's video will either come later on tomorrow night or it could come during the weekend since obviously you won't make any trades the following day. So, hope everybody has a good night and a good weekend.